Thank you very much, Madam President, and I'd like to thank our colleague from Sacramento for giving us this opportunity to honor his name and to speak his name on the floor of the State Senate, Stephon Clark, and that of his brother, who many of us have watched on television have a very public crisis, acknowledging the fact that he has lost both his older and younger brother. And to see Sacramentans really galvanize and support that family and call out the obvious that there are segments of our community who don't have access to mental health services or services when we are in most need. We have lots of discussion on this floor. We have and will continue to debate, and sometimes we'll agree and sometimes we'll disagree. But I would just ask that on the sheer strength of my relationship with you as a colleague, that when I tell you race matters, that you not come back to me with quips about how far we've come in the last 50 years, how it's much better today than it is in the past, and that on the sheer strength of my life experience as a 53-year-old black woman and your relationship with me, that when I tell you race matters, that you simply believe me. That when we have debates on whether or not it's appropriate to invest public resources to empower the Attorney General to collect data on the incidents of police shootings for communities of color, that you trust me when I simply say race matters. All of you know I have a son. Many of you have had the opportunity to meet him. I'm very public with my parental experience, and many of you have asked me recently, because you know he's soon to be 18 and will graduate. Well, Holly, where will he go to college? And I've shared with you, it's our family decision to send him to a historically black college and university. And many of you have said, Holly, South Carolina, you're going to send him to South Carolina? I would ask you, where do you think it would be safe for me to send him? Where? Because Stephon Clark wasn't safe in his grandparents' backyard in Sacramento, California. So as we continue to rise in this floor and debate very important public policy issues about police practice and behavior, that when we merely ask the question about transparency, when we ask the question about data collection, when we raise the issue about the disproportionate number of black and brown people who are arrested, incarcerated, die at the hands of police, that you not merely challenge us and suggest that we're being anti-police, when I am simply trying to be pro a 22-year-old young man in the backyard of his grandparents' house. And so I want to thank my colleague from Sacramento. I think this is an important ethical, moral, public policy issue that we cannot shy away from, California State Senate, because it is in our face every day, some of us more personal than others.